Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pacer Sports Live, the last episode for the season here at Mellow Mushroom in Aiken, South Carolina. We'd like to say thank you to them for allowing us to be here on location one more time. And as always, I'm joined by Coach Mark Miller, Coach Mark Vanderslice, Coach Kenny Thomas. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you.
Excellent. So we'll start things off by introducing our Pacer Sports trivia question for today's episode. And the question is, how many PBC championships has the golf team won? You've got three choices, 8, 11, or 14, and we'll pick a winner for that a little bit later on in the episode. But for now, we're going to go ahead into our team updates. Coach Miller, you know, obviously you're in the off season now, but, you know, take us through what you've been doing since the season ended a little bit.
We've been getting after it 3 days a week in the morning at 7 a.m., so we go about an hour and 15 minutes 3 days a week. And you know, which I'm really proud of our girls getting after it, kind of a sense of urgency, a little different mindset with the group of 9 returning players that we have right now. So, you know, kind of like where we're doing. So we do that 3 days a week. And then we have individual instruction on the court for 2 hours during the week. So it's a good time for us to really work on some individual skills and some footwork things. And you know, those two things are really important, but then the other thing it does for us, our kids, is give them a chance to concentrate on the academics and, you know, finish up the season strong academically. That's a big piece to it. So, you know, for our team and our players, just, you know, getting better in the weight room, getting stronger, working on our skills, and taking care of academics.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Coach. And Coach Mark Vanderslice, same question to you. You know, give us a little bit of an update on the team about how things have been going since the season ended.
Same time constraints from the NCAA standpoint. You get the 8 hours, 6 hours of training, and 2 hours of skill development. You have the mandatory 2 days off that we utilize Saturday and Sunday for the postseason. Don't get much opportunity to do too much more than that. Don't really need too much more than that with, like Coach said, with the academic piece of it. But we'll go 5 days a week. We'll have our weights 3 days a week. We'll have skill development for 2. And then we'll, on Friday morning, get up early, get the guys the opportunity to get the workouts in so they have the weekend and come back strong and fresh on that Monday. So for us right now, it's just a matter of our guys getting a little bit better in the postseason and taking this time to work on different areas. You know, I've always said that the postseason is a time for us to maintain the strengths, but to work on the weaknesses. And I tell our guys, even in the postseason meetings, that the season itself is a time to eliminate the weaknesses and highlight the strengths. You know, but at this particular time, you need to get your weaknesses exposed and to work on it, and that's what we're doing right now.
All right, Coach Vanderslice, thank you so much for the update.
Thanks.
Coach Thomas, you've been in season, you know, for a little while now. Give us a little bit of an update on how things have been since last episode.
Well, we're just hanging out, sitting around, not doing too much right now. Just kind of, I think since our last episode, we've played 12 games.
I think that's it, yes, sir.
11 or 12 games. First of all, I'd like to welcome Coach Miller to the South. I don't know if y'all heard that tonight. He said hour and a half. 2 years ago.
That's it. I'm getting there. After 2 years, Coach, it's about time, right?
2 years ago, he would have said an hour.
That's right.
And a
The
half.
flat out.
He said
Between
hour
the
and a
food-
half,
Between the food that I get
The
from
flat
you
out.
and the language barrier
really
that I
good.
get from you, I am getting better.
That was great. I loved it, Mark. I loved it, Coach. That was great. Well, we've been through 11 or 12 games. We swept the series this weekend from Augusta University.
Yeah.
Now, that's always nice. Went to Pembroke last weekend, had a little tough time, lost a game on Friday night in the ninth, in the bottom of the ninth, up 4-3, and gave up 2 and lost 5-4. Came back, lost on Saturday, and then played really well and came back and fight and won on Sunday. So it's been, I told our guys last night after the sweep, I think we are starting, hopefully, to realize how we win. And I've been kind of preaching that for the last 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We kind of got to realize how we win. This is the formula, and so we're starting to figure that out a little bit. But it's been a busy time. We've had midweek games, and then conference series on the weekend. And as you know, in this conference, every weekend 3-game series is tough. So it's been a good 2 or 3 weeks since I saw you, but we've had some bad times, good times, but heck, this weekend was pretty sweet, I can tell you that. So hopefully we're on a roll now.
Excellent. And so you also recently picked up your 1,200th career win. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that and how much that means to you?
How many was that?
1,200.
1,200.
1,200.
Well, 1,200. I guess that means you're getting old.
You said that. I wasn't really
Good
going
job,
there, but
Coach.
I figured you'd be saying that.
I guess that means you're getting old, but people have asked me a lot about that in the last few days. The thing that kind of amazes me the most about it is when you put it into perspective. I think I got 580 losses in there, and as a baseball coach, you always the way you want to finish whenever you do decide to finish. The judgment of success in the world of baseball coaches is to have twice as many wins as you have losses. If you have twice as many wins as losses when you retire as a baseball coach, then you're pretty well judged as successful. So I've tried to always keep that in mind, and right now I have that. So, but when you add those losses, 580 something losses to the 1,200 now, and whatever 1,203 wins, whatever it is now. Heck, that tells you you've walked out there almost 1,800 times to home plate with a lineup card in your hand, and that when you put that into perspective, that's a whole lot of times to walk to home plate, and that part's amazing. That it doesn't seem that long ago when I started, if you know what I mean, but 1,800 times to walk to home plate with a lineup card's quite a few times, but. It was exciting that day. It took us a little while to get it.
Yeah, we keep counting. I've been waiting to count down here, Coach. Come on.
It took us 3 or 4 days there, 3 or 4 games there to get it. But it was, and as I said last time, my family has always kept up with that. My dad, before he passed away, was very, very knowledgeable about my wins, and he loved those milestones. My dad probably loved those milestones more than anybody. He loved them, and so our family's kept up with that quite a bit, and so it was a good time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Coach.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations on the 1,200 wins, Coach, and thank you so much for the team
You got
update.
1,200 more?
Well, somebody else asked that.
300.
Somebody asked my wife, said, is he going to be here to win 1,200 more? And she started figuring out my age. I don't know. Woo, that's a bunch of games. Maybe the NCAA will double the amount of games a year, or something.
Judy
They
just said
lowered it a
100,
few
that's
years
it.
ago. Don't get me started on that.
No,
when they
no.
lowered
We don't
it.
want to do that.
That was the worst move ever. Worst move ever was to take 6 games. What did it take, 2 away from basketball a few years ago?
Yeah.
For Division II, I'm not sure what the rules
Yeah, I
before
think
I
they
got
took
here.
2 and took 6 from baseball. That was by far the worst move ever. Absolutely the worst. It's not fair to the players. It's not. Don't get me started on that. That was a bad move.
Next
Bad
year's
move.
topic.
They say it gives us 6 days off, and y'all 2 days off. It gave me 6 more days to practice. It gave my players
That's right.
6 more days to practice, and you're 2 more days. So that's all it did.
Well,
Thank you. I got my plug in. Thanks.
Looks like we'll have a debate topic for next season
next
of Pacer Sports Live. But at this time, we'd actually like to introduce our special guest for the episode, Johnson Holliday of the golf team. Johnson, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Excellent, man. So we like to start off, we always ask everybody that comes on the show, how did you end up at USC Aiken? What brought you here?
Well, first of all, just playing golf as a junior, I was looking, either go D1, D2, and I just saw the program and just saw how well they were doing. Being I think when I first came in, they were like 1 or 2 in the nation. I wanted to go to a place that always had a chance to win a national championship and kind of keep me in the mix and keep my game at a high level. So looking at that, but just the academics here at USC Aiken is just something that just expanding my knowledge about business and things like that, because I've always wanted to run a business after college, or be able to manage myself if I turn professionally. So it was just the whole package coming to USC Aiken.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about what it's like to play here at USC Aiken. What's it like to golf for USC Aiken?
Oh my, it's so much fun. I mean, you get to play, and the best part about it is I get to play D1 tournaments, and I get to play the best D2 tournaments. And you're playing, these high level of competitions. It's just so much fun because you're always tested every single tournament. And we get to play the best course around. We get to play Palmetto Golf Club, and that's the nicest course that I've ever played at. So it's just a sweet deal.
Excellent. And so now at this point, as always, we'd like to turn it over to the coaches so that they have a chance to ask any questions.
My question is, tell me about playing for Coach Carlisle. Like, you guys been here forever, ton of success. Every year he's been very successful. Tell me what it's like playing for him, and tell me what it's like, what makes him special to play for.
I would say his belief in each individual player. When you go, there's like a new style of teaching, and then there's old school, and Coach is pretty old school in that regards. And he believes in us, and he kind of lets us do our own thing. Like, we don't have really much planned, scheduled practices. We kind of go out there and on our own time. We can work on whatever we need to work on. But if you ever need any help, he's there. He's there to help you out. You just text him, "Hey, Coach, I need you to be out here watching my swing for a little bit." And I mean, we do have planned times where he's out there, but he's never really like, "Okay, we need to work on our chipping, we need to work on our driving." It's just whatever you need to focus on, and if you need individual attention, he'll come out and help you. So, and that's a big thing because in golf, it's such an individual sport. And so when you have someone always kind of breathing down your neck, trying to tinker with your swing, you're just not yourself because it's so individual. It's such a feel sport. It just wouldn't work if he was any other way, and that's really what makes him special.
Nice, very nice.
So is that different for each teams? I mean, is there like different golf programs have set practice schedules, or is that pretty much similar across the board?
I mean, it's pretty similar. Like, a lot of the coaches like to kind of let you do what you want to. But, I've heard kind of some horror stories at other schools where, the coaches are trying to change people's swings. And, we played junior golf. We got the recognition from the coach as a junior. There's no need to go to the school and completely change what, fundamentals that you had to get you to that point. You just, in college, it's all about, expanding and getting better and improving. It's not about completely changing your game. So, it just depends on the school. Like, there's a lot of old school coaches, and then there's a lot of coaches that I've heard that they'll get you to the school and they'll just try to change your swing. Like, this is the way to be successful, but there's no real set formula.
So what's a normal week look like for you? Just practice. Say you're not playing, okay? You just have practice. You say you're on your own. You go out and just play 18. You play 9. You go out there.
Well, it's really just based around my school schedule. So for me, Tuesday, Thursday are my practice days. So I'll go out and practice. I'll probably get out of class a little bit later, and I'll go out there and practice for a little bit, chip, putt, hit some balls, and then I actually go at 6 o'clock. I leave to go to yoga, and that's kind of a part of my
Routine.
Regular practice as well, just for strength. But on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have restrictions that we can't get out of the course until a certain time, so like around 1. So on those days, I try to hit balls and try to go through like a regular tournament play, so to say, and I'll get out there and hit balls and go out there and play 18. If there's anything after the round that I need to work on, I'll just go out there and maybe finish up the round and chip and putt or work on the swing a little bit.
Nice.
Dang.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah. So do you meet up with one of your teammates? Do y'all kind of set times, and you and somebody else going to meet there and play 18 together? Or?
Yeah, and Coach kind of tells us when we first start that we want to kind of have a set schedule. We want to get our classes done as early as possible because that's the only way we can get out the course and spend, amount of time to practice. And so we usually, a lot of the guys will get off around the same time, whether it's like 12 to 1 o'clock. And, if you get out a little bit earlier than someone else who needs a ride, you just kind of wait around a little bit. And you can get around a golf in right now.
So if a young guy coming up and golf is his thing, okay, he loves golf. He's played junior golf like you and come up through there, and he's pretty good at it. he can come to USC Aiken, and he can go to Palmetto and play golf every day at his time that he wants to go. And he can go and play golf. Coach might eat some nachos up there while he's watching y'all great players play. That's a pretty good gig.
Pretty good gig.
I'm
Are there
just
any-
telling you,
are there
man.
any-
You get to go to school. You get an education. Hopefully you're getting most or part of your education paid for. You don't have nobody breathing down your throat. I don't breathe down my players' throats, do I, Andre? I don't, but you don't have anybody breathing down your throat. And every day you get to play golf at one of the nicest golf courses in America, really, Palmetto. They don't let me play there very much because I make too many divots. But that's a pretty good gig now. I mean, that's a pretty good gig. I don't know why any young golfer wouldn't like that. You know, you said you get to do your own thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to change your swing. That's a pretty good gig now for a young man coming out of high school that likes golf. Now, I'm
What
just
year are you
telling
again? What year are you again?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
If I let my guys come out on their own and do their own thing, why heck, they'd be hitting each other in the head with bats and stuff over there. I mean, I can't.
What's the long-term aspirations for you? You want to try to get on a tour? I mean, what are you looking to do?
Yeah, I'm looking to turn professional. I'm gonna do it a little slower route. Usually, a lot of the guys just turn professional right after graduation. But I had a really good summer of amateur play this past summer, and I got into a lot of good events that I want to kind of play again. And I just don't think I'm ready to turn professional yet. You know, I have a lot of good tournaments ahead of me, and I was just gonna, and I kind of keep in the wishes that my dad wanted me to. He wanted me to stay amateur and run our family business. But I've always dreamed of being professional,
Yeah.
and I believe myself that I can make it one day.
Where are you from?
Gallivan's Ferry, South Carolina. And so, like, that aspect, I want to stay amateur until the point that I'm able to turn pro. So, like, I would go to Q school. I'd go through first round, second round as an amateur, and if I made it to third round, that, like, enables you with some sort of status. And then I would turn pro. But, you know, if I didn't make it to that point, you know, if there's a round that I didn't make it through, I would still have my amateur status, and I can go back and play these amateur events. And it's just a whole bunch of experience that you just keep on learning.
Do you know Dane Burkhart used to play here? Dane Burkhart?
Yes, sir.
He kind of went that route. Then he decided that the business world, family life was better for him. But, man, he could play. He can still play. I don't know if you've ever played with him. He can still hit it pretty good.
I've never played with him, but, yeah, I've heard
He's pretty
I've heard
good.
He can
He's
hit
pretty
the ball.
good.
He
But
can
he
golf
was
the
the same
ball.
way. He went out on, at that time, I think it was the Hooters tour or something, one of those tours. And but, man, I just can't get over that. Man,
I mean, you guys have a lot of success in the program.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, I
it's
don't
all
want
about the players.
I know you probably got to move on to the next one, but just real quick, walk us through, like for baseball, for instance, a lot of the guys go up through the farm system, single A, double, triple, before they get that opportunity. What are the stages, the sequence, the timeline for a golfer to start from the very beginning once they graduate to get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's a little bit different from a golfer just because it's such an individual sport. You just have to go through Q school, and you're going against, I'm not sure what size of the field is, but you're going against all these guys, and your main goal is just to get to the next stage when it comes to Q school. I think there's like 3 or 4 stages.
Okay, that's
and
like
so,
the web.com. Like where does that fall in?
So like once you make it to the last stage of Q school, then you have exemption to the web.com.
Okay.
But you could also Monday qualify for any of the web.com tournaments. Like I could go, if there was a tournament held at Palmetto this week for the web.com, I would be able to have a chance to Monday qualify and to get into that tournament. And then from there, if you make the cut or come top 25, you're exempt to the next tournament. It's just
pretty.
It's just
pretty neat.
it's tough if you don't go through Q school because like let's say you're in the top 25 of Q school, then you're enabled for a few tournaments. I'm not sure how many it is, but you have like exemptions into those tournaments that you can play. And then from there you have a money list, and if you're in the top 25 on the money list, I believe, then you're exempt for the PGA Tour and you have some sort of status. So it's a money game.
Does Coach Carlisle ever play with y'all?
I actually saw him play for the first time when we were going to Wexford, I believe. And that was the first time I played with Coach. But I've seen him play at Palmetto, and he plays with some of the other players, so I just haven't had the opportunity.
I tried to get him to give me some lessons. He said I was past lessons. It wasn't good.
Can't teach a dog
we
new
had
tricks,
that hole
man.
out there that time at the Palmetto tournament. At the university host, and I was trying. It was that 3-par that goes down the hill. You know what?
Number 12?
Yeah, number 12.
No, number 11.
11. That's it. Straight down that hill. So you paid $5 to go against him. After $50, I quit. I mean, you hit it. You got to get it inside his.
Give him to the calls.
Inside of his. Well,
Did you pick it up and throw it?
But I never saw. But I've never. Yeah, I could.
You
throw
picked it up and throw it that far.
But I never saw him play. I've never seen him play. But they say he hits it pretty good.
He's a very good golfer.
I heard he hits it pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So.
Well, he's obviously coaching you guys pretty well too. The golf team at USC Aiken currently ranked number 9 in the nation, so there's something clicking right there. But at this point in time, we're going to take a little bit of a brief break. Johnson, if you'd like to join us again after the break, we're going to have some fun talks about various outside of USC Aiken sporting topics, and if not, we'll see you a little bit later. But thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back.
Did you hear about the upset this week? How did baseball and softball teams do at Augusta? Find out all of that and more in the Pacer Minute. Last week, the number 19 USC Aiken men's tennis team knocked off number 14 Wingate by a 5-2 score. The team bested Salem International 9-0 before picking up a 7-2 win at Francis Marion. Antonio Salvaguero went 6-0 on the week as the Pacers find out their new national ranking later today. USC Aiken hosts Erskine today before wrapping up the regular season Saturday at Georgia College. Last week, the women's tennis team dropped 2 close contests to Wingate and Francis Marion, but earned a 9-0 win over Salem International. The win over SIU marked their last home contest for seniors Kayla Calvert and Olivera Veskovich. The team wraps up the regular season Saturday at Georgia College. Last week, the softball team went 1-3. After dropping 2 at Georgia College, the Pacers went to Augusta and split the doubleheader. USC Aiken won the first game 7-2 with homers from Sydney Kate Murphy and Chandler Terrapin. Murphy moved into 4th on the USC Aiken career home run list while Terrapin moved into 8th place. The team hosts Lander and Francis Marion this weekend in 4 crucial PBC contests. The USC Aiken baseball team swept Augusta last weekend. The team beat the Jaguars 14-4, 15-1, and 6-0. The squad moved into a tie for 3rd place in the PBC with only 9 more league games remaining. Mitch Spence and Christian Argon each pitched gems over the weekend. The team returns to action tonight when it hosts Wingate before hitting the road for a 3-game series at Young Harris. The number 9 USC Aiken golf team hits the road this weekend for the PBC Championship. USC Aiken is the 2nd highest ranked team in the PBC, but is coming off a stellar spring season. The Pacers are the defending conference champions and look to go back-to-back for the first time since the 2013-14 campaigns. I'm Allie Smith, and that wraps up another edition of the Pacer Minute. Make sure you like, share, and retweet this video and all others regarding Pacer athletics. We will see you next Wednesday for another Pacer Minute. And look to go back-to-back for the first time since the 2013-14 campaigns. I'm Allie Smith, and that wraps up another edition of the Pacer Minute. Oh! No! Pacer.
Welcome back, everyone. As always, joined by Coach Miller, Coach Vanderslice, Coach Thomas, and this time Johnson Holliday. So we'll go ahead and restart the show with our Getting Personal segment. Coach Miller, why don't you go ahead and give us an update? Let us know how you're doing these days.
Well, as we said before, Coach and I have 90 seconds. Coach Thomas has 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So our 90 seconds, that's,
Exactly.
Well, for me, recruiting, son baseball, daughter softball. So, for my, that's my life right now. My wife and I are normally on the baseball and softball in different directions through our week, and it's kind of based around that. But for us, it's a fun time. My son's finishing up his senior year, so it's a fun time with that. And my daughter's just a freshman, so it's fun watching them, kind of go into the next step. So, it's probably a good time for me away from basketball.
Excellent. Coach Vanderslice, how about you? How are you doing?
Good. I'm close to a milestone. My 10-month-old is almost walking. She's not there yet. And I'm close to a second milestone, which is I almost know every single princess that Disney Channel has ever put out. So you hear
So
me?
you can name them?
Wait. I'm close. Yeah, Jasmine, Cinderella. I can probably go through most of them.
Man, I'm
So when you
impressed.
hear me,
Good skill to have. I know a few.
when you hear me whistling Frozen down the hallway of the athletic department, you know why, right? But no, for me, it's recruiting as well. And so we're it hasn't changed too much since 2 weeks ago when you asked that question for us. It's pretty similar. Just there's certain windows of time recruiting-wise that we target just because there's a peak season for high school recruits and there's a peak season for junior college and transfers. You obviously never want to take your eye off of any of those pools, but there are certain windows that have a peak more than others, and right now we're focused on a certain area. But other than that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Coach Thomas, how
Wait
are
a
you
second.
doing?
Wait a second. Let me get the stopwatch started here.
I
Okay,
wanna
good.
say,
We're good. Okay, ready? Begin.
First of all, I would like to appoint Coach Miller as chairman of the Liars Table Friday. As the Liars Table has
I didn't
been
get a
shut
text. Am I shut out?
You
It's
this
been
past
shut-
week?
shut
I didn't get a
down
text.
for 2
We didn't
weeks.
either.
Shut down for 2 weeks. You guys don't read very well. It's
We-
been shut
I
down the
didn't
last
get it.
2 Fridays because
Judy?
of the Masters. The trailer was somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
So
it's all about the
And you
money.
didn't want to tell us?
It's
Wait. I'm
back.
starting to get the feel. It's about the money, not the relationships.
I'm going to appoint Coach Miller in charge this Friday of the Liars Table. It will be back in business.
It will be back in business this Friday.
I'll send you a text.
Great, please.
So,
Please.
My personal life has been McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Waffle House at 11:30 at night. I had become well known at those places. 11:30, eating dinner at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. The recliner has become very popular. Sleeping in the recliner. I've probably slept the last 2 weeks. Last night I went half and half. I went half and half last night. 4 o'clock in the morning I switched.
And you wonder why your hips are hurting and your knees are hurting
Well,
and your
I
back
fall
are
asleep
hurting.
in the recliner. I fall asleep and I just stay there until 3 or 4 or 5, sometimes all night. So it's been a very busy time, obviously. Very busy time. We are still recruiting too, so it's a crazy world. We're recruiting 19 grads right now, and it's really a very busy time. And we're also still recruiting a couple of more players to come in next fall. So it has been very busy. We're playing a lot of games, but it's fun time. I like it when I hear my wife talking to somebody about a condo at the beach in July. That makes me feel good. I start thinking about that a little bit. That
She
makes
had
me
turned
feel
around
really good.
all day until you said that. Now and then her
Condo
eyes
at the
perked
beach.
up.
She likes it too. Don't think I'm the only one. She likes it too. So, but anyhow, very busy time, and I appreciate it, Coach Miller, that you'll be in charge
I got
this
it.
Friday because I
Coach
will
Buck,
be at Young
Coach
Harris.
Buck, we got it. We'll hold down the fort.
I'll get the text out Thursday.
All right.
Good.
All right, so now that we're all caught up on everybody's personal life, let's take things outside of USC Aiken. And as we all know, this was a big week for Aiken and Augusta with the Masters being in town and with, such golfing excellence here at the table with us today. Did you guys know that Johnson Holliday is the second-ranked golfer in our region, behind only his teammate Axel Ostenson?
That is
12th in the country. Just learned it ourselves. Just learned it.
And so I figure since we've got someone of his caliber at the table, we have to talk about the Masters, right?
Yeah, because we got 3 people here probably can't hit. We couldn't all hit it, get it down there.
You add
Hit
up our
par.
yards on all of our
Well, we might
drives.
be
You
able to
probably.
throw it.
That's
We
what
might be
I
able
was
to pick it up and throw it that far, the three of us. But I don't think we can hit it that
I'm
far.
the only person that plays golf that hits like this and then looks back this way. Really.
Oh, wow. I've actually had one of those moments, so we've all been there.
Well, I appreciate you making me feel good.
Well, I got to tell you, I had the opportunity this past week to go to the practice round on Tuesday. A friend of mine offered me tickets, and not being a huge golf person, I like to watch it. I asked Coach Carlisle, Coach, should I go? He's like, oh man, you got to go. It's like one of those bucket list things, and I went, and I spent all day there. 6:30 in the morning. I got home at like 6 o'clock that night, and when I got done, I was really glad I went because I really enjoyed it. Now I don't need to go again. It was a great experience. I'm glad I went. It's beautiful. It's more beautiful live than ever on TV. But now I have a better appreciation for it watching it on TV. Like I was glued to my TV on Saturday and Sunday, But it was a great experience for me. Just being able to watch it after being there.
Did you have some sandwiches, pimento cheese, egg salad?
I had egg salad.
learned that.
I had the egg salad sandwich.
Egg.
Egg.
Only one?
Egg.
You only had one?
One. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, I had 5 sweet teas. So the egg salad.
I get 5 sandwiches at the first stop.
Well, there's a difference between
Same
you
here,
and
same
I.
here.
There's a difference between you and I.
Not much.
But I had a good time. It was fun. So I appreciate a lot of what you do, believe me. But it was a really good experience for me. I was glad I
It's
went.
a mental
That's
game.
awesome.
Did anybody actually get to tune in to any? I'm in the food and bev industry on the side, so I was not able to watch anything at all.
I
We were
got
dealing
home last night after the game in time to watch the last group play 3 or 4 holes. So I got to ask a question here. Does nobody like that guy that
I was
won?
about to ask you. That was my next question.
My
Spieth came in
goodness.
third, right? And who was second?
My boy, Fowler.
Fowler came in
Ricky
second.
Fowler, I love Ricky Fowler.
And I'm just being observant to people's comments. They're saying that the trend was what was the guy's name that won it?
Patrick
Patrick
Reed.
Reed.
Yeah, when he was getting pars, the tweets out were more popular than when he was actually getting birdies. Like people did not want him to win. And I don't know much about golf. I don't know why.
I was blessed enough to be out there and actually watch this, watch Sunday, and it was unbelievable. Like I've never seen that ever, and it's like you said. I mean, he would mess up, and it wasn't like they were saying like, oh, they were cheering for him messing up, but they weren't necessarily. They were pulling for Jordan Spieth and Ricky Fowler, and I understand that he's not the most liked guy on tour, but you also have the number 1 and the number 2 fan base guys out there. They just have an unbelievable fan base. They love them, and so it's kind of hard when you're not so liked to be going against those guys,
Right.
or the young guns coming up. And
I read something where Ricky, and I do keep up with it. I really like watching the Masters when I can, but Ricky Fowler's the most popular guy out there right now, and it's unbelievable, his fan base. I mean, it's crazy. He's got a tremendous, wasn't he a dirt bike rider or something?
Yeah, I think some of his personal hobbies he does.
So
like
what is
dirt
it? Just the
biking,
personality
kinda
behind a camera? He's just not.
This guy supposedly got in some trouble at Georgia when he was there, and they dismissed him from the team.
Yeah.
And he went to Augusta State, and I don't think he was real popular with his teammates at Augusta State. Then he got married from a girl he met there at Augusta State, and then they supposedly they have left ties with his family to just have ties with her family. And so I think people read a lot into it.
Some unpopular press.
Yeah, people read a lot into it that you don't know whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
You really don't know if any of that's true. We don't know that. We just hear it.
Yeah, it's just.
But it's blown up a little bit. And they said the 18th hole when he won was about as subdued.
Yeah, I was surprised. You would
Applause
think there would be like a big roar. I mean, he made a decently long putt for par to win the tournament, and it was only like the 3 inner layers of people. Because I mean, when you're walking on 18, that final hole, I mean, you can't even see the whole hole because there's just so many people that are just deep on each side.
Yeah, there's no pun intended. Golf claps, right?
Yeah, they're there.
Nobody laughed at that. All right, okay.
But just it was only like a minor roar, and like you're out there when you hear like Ricky Fowler making the birdie. I was on the tee box when Patrick Reed was teeing off the 18th hole, and you hear the roar from Ricky making that birdie, and like you just have your the hair on your arm standing straight up. You just got chills, And then people around the tee box, knowing that he's one behind Patrick Reed now, were like, ooh, like oohing and ahhing, like almost as Patrick Reed was hitting. So like, I mean, I'll give it to him. He played. He had a heck of a round because he had two of the top guys going after him, but he also had the fans that weren't really going for him, and it's just tough. I mean, it just shows what kind of grit he has going out there and how hard he wants it.
It's a mind game. Such a mind sport.
Yeah, I agree. That had to be because it's like you don't applaud, you don't make noise when a guy's hitting a stroke.
Yeah.
But you do get a feeling of who's pulling for who.
Yeah. And
when they're pulling for you, it has to feel good. He had to realize that people are not pulling for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, all we do is all I know is what you read on social media. I don't know any of that's true, but
I had a hard time pulling for him as well. I would go ahead and admit it, just because it was from Augusta State.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I will admit, I give the guy props. He's worked hard and he got to this point and he's done a good job.
I thought it was funny when he went up through the alleyway there after he won.
Yeah.
Ricky, when he come off, his wife come over there and they hugged and they walked up and he had his mother and dad behind him. Mm-hmm. Patrick just shot up through where his poor little wife couldn't even keep up with him. He just run off and left her. I said, well, I guess she don't matter. But
he was probably just so in the moment.
He probably was. He just run off.
Look, you know what? I don't really feel that bad for the guy. His prize pool, he doesn't ever have to golf again. He's straight.
What's the purse was $11 million. What's the winner?
I think he won like one.
I thought it was like 2.1 or 2.2.
I think it was 1.9.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was more than that. Wow.
Pretty good.
We got to learn how to
not a bad day at the office.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Not a bad day at the office at all.
Wow.
Well, that was fun, but now we're going to move into something that I've, kind of adopted as my favorite segment, the debate topic that we always have every episode. And this one's going to be a fun one. We're going to have the discussion of who is the greatest coach of all time. Now, me personally, as a Packers fan, I would like to go ahead and say Vince Lombardi. That's just my personal opinion.
He'll give a baseball guy. I'll give a basketball. He'll be somewhere. He'll probably
I already know your pick. I know who you're picking. So we're going to since you're in the middle, you go first today.
Well, I think you know who I'm going to pick. It's either one of two guys. So I'm going to say the third guy. You're going to think I'm either saying John Wooden or Mike Krzyzewski, which I wasn't going to say him. The guy that I'm not sure you would have thought this, but Don Meyer. No?
He's got to be in a conversation.
Yeah, he's one. I mean, and one of the reasons
nobody knows about it.
No, yeah, exactly. And one of the reasons I bring him up, he's got some of the most wins ever. But the relationships that guy has brought and the ripple effects on people's lives that he's had, and yeah, he doesn't go down in the books maybe is the best ever. But I mean, the ripple effect of influence that he has had on people's lives. You just hear people over and over and over talk about Don Meyer on all the people he's impacted.
It's funny you say that. I went probably 18 years ago to see a coach's clinic that he put on. 2-day coach's clinic. He didn't say one single thing about X's and O's, and I got more out of that coach's clinic than anything I've ever been to because of just exactly what you said, how he brought it out and how you made you think of things a little bit differently.
Well, I mean, and one of the biggest things that you get from him that he preached a lot was culture over strategy, and relationships over buckets, which he knew that one would precede the other. And that's really hard to do, but you take it from a great coach like that. So who was your pick that you thought I was going to?
I thought you were going to say John Wooden.
Okay, well, I mean, I said one of the two.
That's who I thought you would say.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on the fence. Being a women's basketball coach, I'm going to go with Gino. Somebody that's made that many Final Fours.
How can you bet against
that many national championships? And from taking a program that was terrible when he got there, that had never won anything.
He surpassed Summit. He surpassed Summit. I mean, I'm saying he surpassed Summit in your mind?
Yes. Obviously her passing away and getting sick, kind of curtailed her her career, but he's that person that pushed her to make her better, like she did. But he's kind of taking it to a whole different level. He's getting flack for the last 2 years, losing at the buzzer, and everybody's saying that he's lost something.
Oh, stop.
It's
like they said Dean Smith needed to retire when he didn't make the Final Four.
You lose 2 games at the buzzer back-to-back years after being undefeated going into that game, and people tell you lost something.
Really?
So he's my choice.
Well, obviously, if
Oh, wait a sec. By the way, we can't vote for yourself.
That is the caveat.
They told me
Yourself.
they told me they couldn't do that. So I just wanted to let you know that.
my college coach,
Good coach. That was
my
good.
college baseball coach would have to be Ron Pope. Ron Pope was one of the greatest. Ron Pope was a very interesting guy too, and I remember my first or second year here. He was at Georgia before he went back to Mississippi State. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, I knew him because when I was at Volunteer State, he recruited a lot of my players when he was at Mississippi State. And we played Georgia, and we'd get there. We're in the dugout trying to get all ready for our batting practice, and Georgia's fixed to start their batting practice. And here come Ron Pope walking from the left field corner fence. He had parked out there, still had his street clothes on, and he's got a cigar in his mouth, I guarantee you, that long. And he walks down there, and he says, and I'm over there doing something with my books or something, and I hear him holler, "Where's Big Daddy? Where's Big Daddy?" And I turned around and I said, "Don't call me Big Daddy. I ain't got no cigar that big in my mouth, I can tell you." But he was a classic college coach. He retired because he was upset with some of the issues with Title IX that came about. He was very avid about, I want to try to fix everything. I'm for women's sports, but don't take away from baseball. And he was very avid about that. He fixed a lot of things for women's sports. He fixed a lot of things for men's sports. He came back out of retirement, went to Georgia, was successful there, went back to Mississippi State to finish his career. One of the greatest college baseball coaches of all time. One of the greatest men of all time. He was such a teacher of the game. His book that he wrote back in the 70s is still very popular with baseball people. Just a super person. But you can't take away Nick Saban. Lord have mercy. He has to be considered. And my pro guy would be
Belichick.
My pro guy would be Whitey Herzog. I had a chance to be with the Cardinals when Whitey was the manager of the Cardinals, and never seen a smarter baseball man than Whitey Herzog. I really hadn't. He was one of the smartest baseball men I've ever seen or ever been around. And so those are personal. That's why, except Nick Saban. I don't know Nick Saban.
Right.
But those are personal. Ron Pope, I know, was a great man and a great coach and did a lot for the NCAA and college athletics. I'm telling you. When he was in the fight about Title IX, he wasn't trying to hurt women's sports. He was actually trying to help women's sports. But at the same time, he was trying to help college baseball at the same time, and he did. It ended up happening. Because of him, it happened. And so he's a great guy. I mean, a super guy. So he would be my guy, Ron Pope.
Well, one thing I got to say that I find interesting that we have 2 basketball coaches, and neither one of you said Greg Popovich. He was one that I was thinking about.
Well, you could. He's good, but you would have to say Phil Jackson over Greg Popovich.
Right.
So
And you still got to
no
say,
doubt.
and you still got to say Coach K.
Yeah,
Coach K has to be above with what Coach K's done in the college game and in the Olympics.
and been able to
Yes.
transpire that over into the
Coach
the program
K, I
too.
would agree with, but for me, and obviously this isn't his coaching, but Phil Jackson's his exploits as a GM have kind of made me think that maybe he wasn't as much of a genius as we all thought he was.
Yeah, but you said coach.
That's a fair point as
Right.
well. But
Because Michael Jordan is the best basketball player, but just because he was a bad baseball player doesn't make him a bad basketball player.
Fair
You know what
enough.
I'm saying?
fair enough.
So Phil Jackson, he's got the rings. He's
Yes,
got the
he
nine
does.
rings. How many
That's
Popovich?
true,
I mean,
but-
Popovich is awesome. I don't want to take anything away
if
from
we're
him.
going to go there, we got to throw in Red Auerbach.
Yeah, he.
How many rings
He's
does he
got,
have?
he does have 10, right?
Yeah.
Does he have 10?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. I forgot about that. Yeah, Red Auerbach was awesome.
So,
yeah, he was awesome.
you know, you
It's
got
almost like, you know what, he doesn't get really as much credit as he should. You talk about the Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Bill Russell versus Michael Jordan.
Right.
It's like Michael Jordan's got the 6 rings, but nobody really gives Bill Russell the credit over Michael
Exactly.
Jordan.
Rings has always been a bad judge of
I don't know.
success.
I don't
It's
know.
a big one.
Bill Russell won. It
Yeah,
didn't matter.
it's
He
a big
won.
one. It's a big factor in the
Yeah,
equation. It might not
absolutely.
be the only because Robert Ory's not the greatest.
Well,
ever.
it's
Right.
a big factor, but in basketball especially, it's such a team sport. Can you really say that one player is great because they have X number of rings when everybody was involved in that?
Yeah, because when you're one of the better players and you can bring everybody else's game up to win at a team level, you know, I mean, individual sports are easy because it's just you. You know, that's the hard part about winning rings on a team sport, especially basketball. Like, I think, basketball is probably the sport. You know, football has a lot of strategy, but I think basketball probably is the sport that has the most involvement of any other sport. Involvement.
Yeah.
Because your impact by giving an assist also helps the chemistry, you know, at this level. You have to play defense, you play offense and transition. So there's so much involvement in the game
Absolutely.
of basketball.
Have y'all been, hey, by the way, have y'all watched that ESPN 30-30 special, whatever, is on Pete Maravich?
Yeah, I just saw that. It was great.
On who?
Pete
Pete
Maravich,
Maravich.
the pistol.
Oh, yes.
Pistol.
I'm really looking for
I
Bob
have not
Knight's
seen
coming
the
out.
whole thing yet. I get to see.
He was like one of my
parts
heroes
it.
growing
Oh,
up.
me too. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I saw him play when I was young and lived in Nashville. He played at Vanderbilt 3 times. I saw him play all
Oh,
3
man,
times.
I would have loved to see him.
At Vanderbilt. So anyhow, it was a great. You got talking about basketball.
Yeah.
That guy could run the whole. I mean, he could beat the other 5.
Right.
I've never seen things
He
like
did 44 points a game at
Yeah.
LSU
Yeah.
for 3 years.
that. Yeah. His poor son went to an NAIA school and scored 23 one night.
No,
It was the high-
it was 47. I remember that. That was like,
Oh, yeah. Scored 47 one night in a game. Now, he scored 47 points, and he was in an NAIA school, and the newspaper guy asked him after the game, he says, well, heck, what's so big about that? That was your daddy's average.
How do you follow that?
that was a good line. That was a great line.
He said, I wouldn't
And the
quit.
guy, and the kid said it with like almost tears in his eyes, almost.
He wouldn't quit. He said, I might as well just quit. I scored 40-something points, and I thought I did a good thing. They said, oh, it was your daddy's average. What are you talking about? It wasn't nothing to that.
Well, that's another interesting, thing. Looking at sons of famous athletes or daughters of famous athletes,
Yeah.
and how many of them never translate. Michael Jordan's had, I think he has 2 sons, 3
Yeah,
sons.
one son played, who played, and the other 2 didn't really do much.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's one thing we'll have to look at next
Yeah,
season
that's
on
a good
Pacer
job.
Sports Live. We'll have to have that discussion. But if there's nothing further, gentlemen, I think we've done our job for tonight.
You were so popular today that we didn't even get to every topic. That's how popular he was today, wasn't it?
I'm telling
you. He did a good job. He did a real good
No,
job.
that was fun. That was good.
Yeah.
I told you this was a dangerous seat. You handled it well.
You nailed
Well,
it, man.
remember,
Yeah.
you can't hear him, so you're okay.
You're okay.
You can't hear him, so you're okay.
I just every time he
There you
talks,
go.
I
There
just
you go.
Smart
You're
man.
learning.
Yeah.
You're
Smart
learning.
man. He learned quickly.
That's why he's number
Charmaine Wilson,
1 or
she,
2 in the
she wants to
country.
come back and sit right there. She wants a second shot at it. Didn't work for her first time.
I thought he was warning me for something else. I was kind of nervous at first.
Everybody that sits in that chair is nervous only because of him, not anybody else.
Everyone interprets his warnings differently, so it's
That's exactly right.
and they all mean something different for every
All of
individual person.
That's right.
But gentlemen, I think we've done our job for the evening. So for all the coaches here, I'm Jordan Phillipson signing off for the last time of this season. We'll be back next season with Pacer Sports Live, and we hope you'll join us then. But for now, have a great night.